Some of the trends that we've seen are like platforms like TikTok, where you see they're continuously evolving to push different mediums.
The rising privacy concerns that led to platforms introducing quite a bit of limitation in terms of how they approach user data, which on our side and on brand side, that meant limitation in targeting, right? So we're not able to use third-party data targeting as we would have before. All the introduction to with the iOS limitations and everything around the regulatory, GDPR and so on and so forth. So what this meant for the business is that we had to focus our approach more on first-party data. Just moving away from third-party data, which had quite a bit of limitations now to it, given the regulations. I think the second bit was how the algorithms that these platforms tended to introduce and how they now approached content. Choosing what the user is served and primarily focusing on video content, and in this case short-form video content. With how internet users at this time, the short attention span that they tend to have, you'd see platforms like Instagram focusing on Reels. You see the rise of TikTok just because of the short-form video content that they focus on the platform. So this meant that we also had to, sort of tweak our strategies around these platforms to ensure that we are serving more of this short-form video content and actually ensuring that, we sort of beat the algorithm.
When TikTok first started, they were really pushing short-term video content, but now you'll see they're now allowing people to upload videos over 10 minutes long. They're now actually aggressively pushing for people to upload photos, photo carousels on the platform, and you can see how content being posted there is now constantly evolving. There are things like the TikTok live chats where people are earning coins and gifts, which is allowing them to kind of like generate revenue. I think in Kenya we've not yet enjoyed some of the key features of some of these apps, because I think even in other countries, in America and in Western countries, they are really going how when it comes to TikTok commerce, where people are now buying and selling items there. So I think for TikTok, you'll see that marketplace platform is quite a key channel for them to generate revenues, and we're really excited for when these features will come to Kenya and will be available for other creators here.
Specifically, I think, in my opinion, I think shoppable content is going to be really massive. Consumers are continually seeking that seamless integration between actually engaging on a platform and purchase and engaging with a brand without having to step off that particular platform, right? We've seen what Instagram has done with their shops, the Facebook marketplace. We've seen TikTok just introducing sort of a version of their marketplace as well, where if you're on the platform and you want to purchase something, you want to engage with a brand, you don't have to step off of the platform, right? And this is not just purely for online shops, right? Even as a telco. The partnership that we had with Meta, where you run out of data bundles, you're actually able to renew or buy data off of Meta specifically without having to drop off the platform, right? And this kind of seamless integration is going to be really critical in future. I think the platforms that surprised us the most last year were probably two. One of it being TikTok. I think initially for us, with the rising engagement on TikTok and the flock of people who actually joined the platform for short-form video content, the assumption was that, this would be used as a platform for awareness and engagement, right? But the surprising thing on TikTok was that you can actually use the platform for lower funnel metrics, right? In terms of driving actual clicks to our website, driving actual leads off of the platform. This worked really well for us, and it was actually quite shocking. I think the other platform that surprised us last year was, the entire Google ecosystem, which is usually quite fragmented. You want to use search, you use search separately. You want to use YouTube, and you have video content to engage your audience on YouTube, then use video content on YouTube. If you have any programmatic partners and you want to drive action or awareness off of programmatic partners, then you use display, right? So something they introduced over the last couple of years is performance max. So what this does is combines the buy across the three dimensions of the Google ecosystem. So you're able to have one buy that sits across search, display, and YouTube. This just meant efficiencies in terms of having separate different assets, your video assets, your search, ad text, and whatnot, as well as your display assets sitting under one campaign. And the efficiencies that are driven by this are quite exceptional, to be honest. So we were able to drop costs by over 30% in terms of click-through rates and all these other metrics.
I think last year we also witnessed the introduction of new platforms. There was Threads, there was Spill. At first there was a lot of excitement, but I think that has died down significantly, and we'll see many of these platforms like Meta trying to still push people towards Threads, even though I think we got over it. So it'll be interesting to see how in 2024 some of these platforms will be either used or maybe they'll remain dormant. I don't know. Let's wait and see, because I think things keep changing a whole lot. So I think for Safaricom, when it comes to some of the things that we're leveraging on, is one, trying to kind of adapt our content to each of the platforms. We tailor-make our content to suit the particular platform. So you'll find on TikTok, we are trying as much as possible to adapt some of the trends that are there. We're trying to create content that's within the formats that are available for each of those platforms. And it's going to be interesting to see how much more these platforms evolve and what we need to do. Because I think at the end of the day, when it comes to corporates being online, it's not about moving with the wind, but it's trying to see how you can tweak your strategies to adapt to what's evolving. On Instagram, what we enjoy doing is co-creating with other influencers. I think the fact that the platform now allows people to collaborate and show content on different profiles at the same time has really encouraged a lot of engagement and widespread views of our content. So we have a lot of video content on Instagram. We try also to have a lot of photography on there as well. Just keeping in time with the fact that we're not only competing with other corporates on Instagram, we're competing with all the influencers, all your family, all your friends. So we're always trying to see how we can keep content there engaging, fresh, and fun, that will just allow people to continue following us and engaging with our content. So we have quite a lot more reels, especially. We know the platform at the moment has really been pushing reels quite heavily. In fact, I read somewhere that users on there have been resharing, like they reshare 3.5 billion reels in a day, which I think is insane. So they've put a lot of focus on that. When it comes to TikTok I think is very Gen Z focused, but it's getting a lot of traction with the older generation who are on TikTok a whole lot. So we've tried to create a lot of content there as well, taking advantage of some of the activities we have where we can make it a lot more fun and a lot more engaging. I think for LinkedIn, that's where we engage a lot with professionals, the major platform for our enterprise business unit as well. So that's where we do a lot of our marketing there. I think it's also a brilliant place for us to showcase our leaders, where we position them as thought leaders by showcasing some of the articles that they write about. We also have a newsletter there where we highlight some of the stories from Safaricom Newsroom. So I think it's really helped us connect with professionals and to position Safaricom as one of the top employers in Kenya and Africa. I think for YouTube, that's like our repository for a lot of our long form content. And with the introduction of YouTube Shorts, we are also trying to curate a lot more short form content there. And then finally for us on Snapchat, we use it mostly for our ads. As you know, Snapchat doesn't have a lot of traction with over 30s. I think a lot of the Gen Zs are there a lot. So we use it primarily as an ad platform for any of our campaigns. And the last time we used it aggressively was during our last thematic campaign for two in one, which got a lot of visibility on Snapchat. I think many of these platforms, because of the pressure that TikTok brought, they've been focusing a lot on video content. So I think for us, video content has worked really well. Platforms like Facebook, I don't know why they decided to kill the carousels, because they used to work really well for us when it comes to sort of like telling a story through pictures. And I think for Twitter, they've brought it back for ads, but I'll say for us, video content has worked very well. I think the short form content works even better, and we are trying as much as possible to like shorten our videos to about a minute or to 2 minutes, just to make sure that we are able to keep our audience watching the video till the end. We also make sure if we have longer form content, we have like a shorter trailer that will kind of like attract people to go and watch the fuller, longer video. So when it comes to adapting to current trends in technology, I think platforms like Meta are now shifting focus to adapt more AI into different features on their platforms. When it comes to things like buying ads on the platform, leveraging on AI is really key, because it helps us brands be able to reach our target audience in a more optimal way, where we're receiving value for money and a return on our investments. One of the spaces I feel have become quite key and has consistently grown over the years is user-generated content. I think right now, millions of people have a cell phone. Everyone is busy taking videos, taking pictures. People complain that people are not living in the moment, but you can see the main point or the reason why people are capturing so much is because they want to tell the world, whether it's what's happening, how they're experiencing a concert, how they're interacting with people, how they are using a product or a particular service. So basically everyone has become a content creator. Everyone has become an influencer in some way or form, whether it's paid or organic. So I think it's important for many brands to leverage on user-generated content because it's authentic. I think it's cheaper as well in comparison to producing your own videos and ads. I think a lot of corporates need to take advantage of user-generated content. I think it's very easy also to find this content because all you need to do is search for your brand, search for your product, and you'll find so many people who've talked about your brand. And it would be good to actually collaborate more with them so that they can continue telling this story. But what will give them the fire to do this is the fact that you're supporting them as a brand. So I encourage many more corporates to leverage on user-generated content. What I'm really looking forward to this year is just seeing new people going viral, seeing new different kinds of content creators getting the visibility they deserve. And I say this because some platforms will not allow you to thrive because, like I said, we are still trying to figure out what the algorithms are. So I think a lot of people have to be quite intentional and consistent in creating their content such that maybe they'll be lucky that their content will go viral and companies like us can collaborate with them. So I'm excited about seeing different people and different kinds of content being churned out. If I can speak on some of the challenges as corporates we face is that due to copyright issues, we are not very flexible when it comes to some of the content that we can create. That's a bit limiting. But I think the challenge for us is just to find more dynamic ways of creating content that's interesting and maybe even just creating our own content that has its own legs to go viral without needing to use commercial music to be able to go viral.
I'm most excited looking into the future into augmented reality.
Some of the key platforms are leveraging on technology like artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality to simply make their platforms more up to date and more enticing to its users.
because we come to realize that the users are continually scrolling on their phones. It's very hard for you as a brand to get noticed within and stand outside of the clutter, right? So you always have to look for interactive ways for you to actually engage the audience, and something that's always said out there, thumb stopping content. But for me, it feels more, you need to look at interactive executions, and AR is a place that's really untapped. How can we, for instance, we had the home thematic launch last year where we set up, a house for for our customers to actually come in and experience what a smart home would actually look and feel like. Of course, fueled by Safaricom Home Internet. How can we get this, to someone in Bungoma, to someone in Mombasa, to someone in Turkana to actually experience it from the comfort of their home, right? How can we look into augmented reality to actually get customers to experience our products? To experience, walking into a Safaricom shop without having to do it physically. How do we make it really interactive for them to actually want to engage with us through this means? Then that really seems like a huge potential, and something that we can definitely tap into.